Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the VIP Center Coffee Talk time. I'm Angie Nuttle, and let me turn that down. There we go. Hi, Brittany. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Angie. It's good to see you.
You too. I am very excited about you in particular coming to speak for us at VIP Week. And part of that is just because I appreciate your background, and I know that you're going to share some things about that. But I felt like the very first time that we talked, we had this woman kinship because we've been in war zones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to get to know you today, and I just want to welcome you to the VIP Center. I actually have our guidebook for next week's VIP week, and you are right there.
Fantastic. I'm excited about it.
That's a great picture of you. And the thing that I want to get out of the gate right off the bat is I want to thank you because you chose to be a sponsor for the VIP Center. So appreciate that so much. I appreciate your partnership on that. And we're just so happy to be partnering with you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be part of the week. I was excited when I, found out about it, and it definitely looks like something I needed to jump in and be a part of.
Yeah. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right in and tell everybody who you are. Tell a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so my name is Brittany Simmons, and right off the bat, I'm married and have two kids. So that's part of it, two boys. So I'm a boy mom, and that is an adventure in of itself. But I have a background that I think has set me up to be a boy mom. So one of the things that makes me unique is that I have just recently retired from the United States Army. So I spent 24 years in uniform, 4 of those as a cadet at West Point, and then 20 years as a commissioned officer doing a variety of different things. My branch was military police in the U.S. Army, and so I did a lot of things in that. But I also played around in the Human Resources Command, and I did some Army recruiting. I got to go teach at West Point as an officer, so I got to be part of their faculty, and that was a fantastic experience. So I've had a wide range of opportunities and things that I have done in that sphere. And so I like to say that, Uncle Sam and the American public invested a lot of money in me. I've got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, thanks to Uncle Sam. And a lot of that investment in the time and opportunities is now my time to give back in a different type of way. God calls us all to a bunch of different things. This was definitely something that I was very much, I guess, prone to my giftings and my talents. And, I thank teachers all the time because there's no way I could do what they do. So, I just happened to go and do what was the right thing for me. And now I'm taking a lot of those lessons and sharing it with other people because I've embarked onto my own business of being a leadership coach.
Yeah, love that so much. And so I just want to call out a couple of key things here. You're a boy mom, so more power to you. I have one son who's grown. I have boys and girls, so I got a little bit of a mix of that. But you got to be strong to have boys, for sure.
And they're both redheads like me, so that just throws in its own mix.
Right. Yeah, so they've got fiery personalities, I imagine.
They do, very different fiery personalities, but yes.
Ah, very good. And then I love the fact that you serve. So thank you so much for your service. And I know that it probably just fed right into your leadership coaching that you do. And that's what you do for a living now. So tell us a little bit about your coaching. How did you actually get started with it and what happened?
So it's actually a dream that was born in Iraq. So way back in 2007, it was my second deployment. We'd gone in 2006 and 2007. Thankfully, one of my best friends actually ended up showing up near where I was. She was Navy, I'm Army. So we ended up living one trailer apart, which was fantastic. And so just as we worked through a lot of the different things that we were experiencing there and talking and all, both of us had this feeling we're dealing with a lot of these not so great bosses. And there's just things that we seem to know about leadership that don't seem to always be in place, that someday I think I would like to take this to other people and share it once we have more experience. So I was a young junior officer at the time.
Mhm.
And so after, doing another, I guess at that point would be another 15 years or so in uniform, and learning those different lessons. There's constant professional development that we received in leadership. I was always passionate about it. It's why I went to West Point in the first place, is their line, many of or much of the history we taught was or we teach is made by those we taught, as well as we're the #1 leadership lab in the country, or really the world. And that ended up being true, both there at West Point and then through my Army career. We just constantly had opportunities to step into leadership positions. And really, as an officer, I like to say that every job was a leadership position, because even if you weren't in command of soldiers at the time, you were influencing, you were shaping, you were leading people in staff sections. You always had the opportunity to influence, and influence is really, at the heart of what leadership is. And so as I went through those experiences, I just had that seed planted in 2007, that's what I wanted to do. And so as I got later in my career, I started doing a little bit more training in the coaching and mentoring side. That's one of the things I discovered I loved as well. Is when I went to graduate school to go teach at West Point, I thought I was going to love the like schooling piece and the research piece. And I absolutely, didn't. I enjoyed academics, but I wasn't a research professor. But when I got to West Point, I loved teaching the cadets. It was absolutely the best. And there you get to do more than just like teach the course study. You really have a vested interest in their professional development, because you're about to go out into the world and be in the same jobs together. Like, you were training your future junior leaders. And so I really enjoyed that. And I've always enjoyed my time in the Army, of being able to invest in those junior leaders that I had. And so it just naturally flowed into my wanting to do this when I got out. So before I even, got out, I got some additional certifications, some additional training, and started really exploring what that space looked like, so that I could be prepared to jump in to help both individuals and organizations improve their leadership, because it is a skill set that needs to be learned. And I think sometimes it becomes the ceiling for some people that have great products, have great hearts, that have things that they want to do. But if they've never had somebody actually teach them and help them understand what this looks like, then they just don't do it as well as they could. And again, I don't necessarily think that's their fault. There's just some training that needs to happen. And I really enjoy providing that training and that coaching.
Yeah. So thinking about your experiences in Iraq, which I was there until 2000, from 2004 to 2007. And so when I think about being over there, it's beyond the normal everyday leadership that you see over here in the United States. I mean, to look over here and what's happening and compare it, it's almost like there's no comparison. Over there, it's very real. Your life is on the line every day. Literally, it's on the line every day. And so it almost feels like the lessons are much deeper there. And it's just very intense. So when you think about coming over there, is there a time or a story where you really were faced with a difficult challenge in that war zone? And what was the lesson learned that you have had from a leadership perspective?
So the first time I was deployed was 2004 to 2005, and I was a platoon leader. So I'm a young officer. I was, about, 23 and 24 years old during that deployment. And I had a platoon of 32 military police soldiers, and our job was to keep the roads open and free in and around the Baghdad area for convoys and for civilian traffic and just any kind of other military traffic that was out there. And that involved a lot of different missions, and we did a lot of different things. And honestly, I think probably one of the most difficult pieces with this is going to sound different than what most people think, but when you're there for a long time, you have a lot of days where it is just quiet. You're
Yeah.
driving up and down the roads and there's literally nothing happening. You're doing that for 12 hours, but there's always the possibility of something really bad happening or
Right.
getting called to something really bad. And those days did happen. And so actually, I think one of the most challenging things that my team, myself, and my leaders in that platoon faced was keeping everybody sharp and alert. It's
Yeah.
the not becoming apathetic
Yeah.
throughout those things, because you have to be ready for when the worst could happen. And as military police, a lot of what we did was responding to other people's problems and helping
Right.
them out of those problems. And whether it's rescuing them out of an ambush or responding to something bad going on. And just like you would see with normal law enforcement, here in the States, is that you just have to be ready. And it is a challenge when you're out in the heat and you're wearing all of that gear and you're doing all of those type things. Is keeping the apathy and the fire and the motivation in your team, and it's being creative with that. And while that's in the intense circumstances, because it's life or death, like you said, I actually don't think that's much different than what most folks face in businesses or organizations and nonprofits. Is how do you keep your team engaged and
Yeah.
focused on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, the vision that you're trying to achieve, and not just get stuck in the apathy of every day and just the grind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so powerful and so just spot on. So let's talk about what you actually do. How do you work with organizations? Or is it organizations, individuals, both?
It is both. So, whether it's one-on-one coaching with a leader, and maybe an organization has a leader that they, are they're bringing into a leadership position, and
Hmm.
they want some training on that. I absolutely can help provide the basic training, if you will, on leadership.
Right.
Let's talk about some of these things. Let's talk about delegations. Let's talk about your values. Let's talk about communication. And as part of that, and this is something that I was more self-discovery on my part than the Army teaching me, is I've really come to value the idea of emotional intelligence and
Yeah.
understanding myself and how I interact with others. And I have become a much healthier and better leader by understanding that about myself and understanding how other people see the world, and that I
Right.
have to interact with them. So I've got some assessments that I do with that for individuals to be able to talk through them so that they can better understand how they work, and understanding that others see the world differently. So absolutely, that one-on-one coaching is something that I would do for an organization's leaders, or just for an individual leader that's like, I know I need to take to the next level. Maybe they're a small business owner, and they're like, I need to get a better handle on this. I want to scale, but I feel challenged in some of these leadership type things. Or maybe you're the leader that keeps, rising the ladder, and you understand that, as Marshall Goldsmith says, what got you here won't get you there.
Right.
Is that what do you need to think about growing forward? What does this next opportunity look like? I have been through those same type of scenarios of moving up and understanding I have to transition who I am and how I interact with people and what I understand. So that individual executive coaching, I have the capability to do as well. But I also love training organizations
Mhm.
and groups. And so whether it's training big on the idea of emotional intelligence, or looking at a group and understanding how do we interact with each other in the workplace and improve that, or maybe it's the leadership team, and you really need to understand your mission, your values, and your vision for the future, and what goals it takes to get there. I can run some workshops on that, and maybe there's a need for some follow-on one-on-one coaching with some of the people to help pay attention to how your organization is moving forward. Are you meeting those goals? And a lot of this is accountability,
Mhm.
and really helping the individuals or the teams achieve the goals that they want to achieve. It's not about me achieving something and leading you to success, but it's more about helping you understand who you are and what you bring to the table, and how to move yourself forward as a leader in your organization to achieve best results, and and feel. And so the big piece with this, me too, is it's a character issue. It's not just about the bottom line. How do we as leaders of character really have the competence and the confidence to lead our teams well and be able to go to bed at night saying, I have done the best that I can with what I have. And I'm not kept up late at night, from moral or ethical or those type of issues, because I have done what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I love that so much. And you are a seasoned leader who has transitioned from the actual battlefield to the corporate battlefield. And it sounds like you know exactly what you're talking about, which is important. Anybody can come in and say, hey, I'm a coach, but you have the real world experience, and that's what's valuable for your clients. And so who would you say, are your clients more of small to mid-sized companies, or is it larger? Who is your ideal target?
So for a lot of the one-on-one coaching, it's going to be those small business owners or nonprofits, folks that are running things, ministry leaders, some of those type of things where there's not a lot of you, and you're leading the charge and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to, this is exceeding my capacity, or I don't have the tools that I need. So that's going to be a lot of the one-on-one coaching in that type one. And then definitely, pretty any size organization, small to mid-range size organizations for the group training and those type of things. Maybe you're a larger, say a real estate company or some of those type of things. And you need to understand working in the workplace together. How do we do that? That is definitely where I can come in. And again, that some of the things that I've done is some of the organizations of smaller mid-range, as they start to realize they need to invest in their own leaders, I can come in and help them provide some of the coaching on that based upon what their values and vision looks like, to help improve some of those, strengths and weaknesses that they may see in their own team members, but aren't necessarily sure how to train as well.
Right. So what would you say is most important about your mission?
I think it's really helping people to gain the confidence that they need through gaining the competence. So it's the learning the things to go out and actually do it in their business. You can read books, you can listen to podcasts, but if you aren't actually taking action steps forward, then you're not going to be able to grow and change, and people aren't going to see those results around you. And so I think that's the most important thing, is being able to bring value to other people by holding them accountable, by helping them craft action steps, and then coming back and being like, all right, how did that work? Because it's all a cycle and it's going to continue to build on itself and get better. And so people just need accountability sometimes in order to get those things done. And as a leader, sometimes it's hard to find that accountability because you can't ask your junior subordinate to hold you accountable, to it. So who's going to hold you accountable? And that's where a coach can really come in, is to come in and help, yes, teach you some things, but also it's to help you become who you want to become.
Right. So in essence, your leadership coaching and consulting involves the strategy, the practical, and the tactical.
Absolutely. Yes. And the tactical, it impacts the strategic every day. And that's one of the things that I think is important. Sometimes people just see right here and just think, well, this is just the tactical. Well, it has, and this will be part of what I talk about next week at VIP week. The tactical has great impacts on the strategic, especially if you do it right and intentionally.
Yeah. So what is your topic for next week?
So I'm going to be talking about the power of wise delegation. So not necessarily the importance of delegation, but again, some of those second and third order effects that are really powerful if delegation is done correctly.
Yes, I cannot wait to hear you speak, Brittany. I'm excited about it. So how can other people get in touch with you?
So I have a website. It's BrittanyESimmons.com. So it's important to have the E in there. Otherwise, there's a whole bunch of other Brittany Simmons out there. So BrittanyESimmons.com is where they can find me there. I've got a Facebook page, Brittany Simmons Leadership Coaching, as well as I'm on Instagram at Britt E. Simmons. They can find me on there. So I'd be happy to talk to anyone and to help them out and give them, an idea of how I might be able to help them move forward in their leadership.
Right. Fantastic. So thanks for that. And also, just as a recap, Brittany is going to be at VIP Week. And what day are you speaking, Brittany?
I'm speaking Tuesday morning. So
Okay, yeah, Tuesday morning. So if you want to come and hear Brittany speak, you can register for VIP Week. You can go to www.vipcenter.works/VIP Week. You can see the whole agenda there. You'll see Brittany there on the Tuesday lineup. And I promise you that you're going to have great insights from not just Brittany, but from the other speakers that are going to be speaking all throughout the week. Brittany, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you so much. We will see you on Tuesday.
yeah, we're looking forward to it, Angie. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.